I was thinking about this on my walk into work today, so I wanted to include it on the show. This is the biggest Browns game since when? I mean, exclude the playoffs for a moment. This might be the biggest Browns game of my lifetime, which is a little sad to say, given it's only week 2, but it feels like the Browns could be going in a very unique direction, a direction they've not gone in since 1993, starting off 2-0, if they could knock off not just any team in week 2, but the Pittsburgh Steelers on primetime on Monday Night Football. So let me know. This is the biggest Browns game since fill in the blank. What's going on, everyone? Welcome into the Cleveland Browns Report. We're going to be doing a Browns-Steelers Week 2 preview because, like I was just talking about, this is not just any ordinary Week 2 matchup. This is a big matchup. Not only do the Browns have a chance to make some history for the first time in 30 years, be 2-0, but they also get to send the Pittsburgh Steelers to 0-2. And in a very tight AFC North, this could have major implications down the road. Now, first things first, I want to get out before we start looking at matchups and things like that. The pressure is mounting. I mean, just the chatter online, the buzz on the street right now, just the overall feel in Northeast Ohio, this fan base is ready for a monumental win, a breakthrough win, a win that sort of changes the tone of the Browns-Steelers rivalry that has been dominated by one side for far too long. And I think it's coming. And I'm going to tell you why on today's show. Because there are a lot of things at stake here, right? The last time the Browns were 2-0, Bill Belichick was the head coach. It's kind of funny how sad that is. It's in the same tier as like Jacoby Brissett is a top 5 Browns quarterback in the last 20 years. That's a very sad thing to say, but it's probably true. Last 0-2 start for the Steelers back in 2019. They finished 8-8 that year. The last home loss against the Browns just in the regular season, excluding the postseason, 2003. So 30 years ago, 20 years ago, it's been some decades until since the last time the Browns were able to do something like this. All-time series goes to Pittsburgh, and the last 10 games going to the Steelers as well. Now, before we all get ahead of our skis here and start looking at the matchups and talking about no Cam Hayward, no Deontay Johnson, Pittsburgh got curb stomped week 1. The Browns beat the Bengals 24-3. Let's just declare them a winner. I do want to remind everyone, and most importantly, remind myself, because I am going to get ahead of my skis throughout this video, don't forget about Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin is an absolute assassin when it comes to being home underdogs. The Steelers thrive when everyone is counting them out, and Mike Tomlin is one of the best coaches in the NFL, in my opinion. So, Tomlin at home, coming off a loss, you know he's going to get the boys ready. It's not going to look just like how it did in week 1. Mike Tomlin, with Duck Hodges, was able to beat Baker and the Browns not too long ago. So if there's a coach that can rally a locker room around some injuries, it's Mike Tomlin. But now let's look at this week 2 matchup. And I want to start our preview / keys to victory, whatever you want to call it, with Deshaun Watson and the Browns passing game. Because we saw some good glimpses of it in week 1, but that's all it was, glimpses. We honestly need to see more. We need to see the fireworks, right? Watson was 16 for 29, 154 yards through the air, 45 on the ground, 2 total touchdowns, 1 interception. I do believe you can chalk a good amount of the, misfires and the bad throws to the weather, but I am here to say the weather boy has some good news for us Monday night. Clear skies, and it'll be around 60 degrees. It said there's a small chance of rain throughout the day, but knock on wood, it should be nothing like the Browns-Bengals matchup. The week 1 rust, and this is a true thing for all 32 teams. I mean, the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Bengals all lost in week 1. There are going to be some teams that get off to slow starts. They're still getting their footing. This happens every single year. But 90% of that should just stick to week 1, right? Once you got an actual week of footage and film of your 22 starters to go over and game plan for the next week and improve on and practice, you should leave behind a lot of those week 1 jitters and rustiness and things like that. So it's time for fireworks. Now, I want to do a quick film session with everyone here and talk about Watson in week 1, because this play has been making its rounds on social media, and I kind of want to take a closer look at it. So this was in the first quarter, and this is Watson going deep to Marquise Goodwin, and what would end up being an incomplete pass. And you can see right there, Goodwin is wide open. The closest DB is like 5 yards away. This should be a slam dunk, especially for a quarterback like Deshaun Watson. What is the result of this play? You can see this pass is not quite on the money for Marquise Goodwin. It's not 5 yards ahead or 5 yards behind. Marquise Goodwin could have made a good catch here. It would have been a very good and difficult catch, but I think this was still a somewhat catchable football. But the point I want to drive home is I think you can chalk this one up to Marquise Goodwin missing training camp, him and Deshaun Watson still getting that chemistry down the field because Goodwin's a track star. So when you are trying to pull off physics and calculate how far a 20-mile-per-hour running wide receiver will be when I throw the football 35 yards away, it's a little bit difficult to do without some experience, right? And with Goodwin and Watson, they just started practicing with one another about a week and a half ago. So they are still getting that chemistry down. And you can see that pass was just off the mark from either being a huge gain or a touchdown. Those kinds of, misfires and slowly coming along chemistry, they get sorted out very quickly. At least that's what it should happen when you got a $230 million quarterback. So I'm going to chalk that one up to Goodwin missing camp, Watson and him still getting that downfield chemistry, and there should be a big improvement in week 2 and beyond. Now, before we get to the rest of my preview and keys to victory, we are doing a sub-battle this month with Steelers Talk and the Ravens Rundown because we play both these teams in the first 4 weeks of the season. So let's take down both of our AFC North foes here at Chat Sports. Help me out, subscribe, and let's help the Browns not only win the division on the field, but also win here at Chat Sports. Moving on to my second preview, key to get victory, thing to watch for, whatever you want to call it. Jim Schwartz versus Matt Canada. We've got the Browns defensive coordinator game planning for the Steelers offensive coordinator, and this could get bloody. This could get bad. This could get ugly, and now I'm not talking about Jim Schwartz. Steelers under Matt Canada. Some fun facts for you all. We showed this on our live show yesterday, and I think you guys might enjoy it. How about week 1, starting off in the red zone at the 8-yard line, running 4 verts? I don't know if he pressed X and meant to press Y. I have got no idea why any offensive coordinator would call 4 verts in the red zone. That was laughable. The next thing, they had 9 total run plays in week 1. Any chance you have when you draft a running back in the first round to just run the ball 9 times, you got to do it. I mean, I know that the Steelers fell behind quickly, so they had to pass the ball, but still, asking Kenny Pickett to air it out that much was not a good recipe for success. How about a jet sweep on the second play of the year? Again, if you want to get cutesy with it, be the Kansas City Chiefs. Don't be a team that missed the playoffs last year getting cutesy with it on the second play of the game. Next thing here, 0 400-yard games in 36 games as Matt Canada's offensive coordinator. Not once have they gone over 400 yards in 36 games with Matt Canada calling the shots. Matt Canada, as an offensive coordinator in the college ranks, never had a good offense. Go look at his colleges. Go look at his Wikipedia, look at where he was, and you're not going to remember a single breakout college year oh, right, that was the year Maryland was really good. Nope, does not exist. And finally, out of 36 games, 27 times the Steelers have scored 20 points or fewer. So it has been brutal for Pittsburgh with Matt Canada calling the shots, and I don't know whose family he has at gunpoint and hostage in his basement, but the Steelers refuse to fire this guy, and honestly, I'm all here for it because it's just going to make life a lot easier for the rest of us. Now, as for the Browns' defense, in their first game with Jim Schwartz calling the shots, Joe Burrow and the Bengals got absolutely nothing going. 7 total punts, 5 3-and-outs, 142 yards of total offense, less than 50% time of possession, and a whopping 6 first downs to show for. Jim Schwartz started his return, to Cleveland off with a bang, and this defense killed in their debut. So Schwartz, honestly, not to be dramatic here, he very well may get Matt Canada fired. I know that the Steelers are sticking by Matt Canada, or at least they say they are, but if there is an onslaught on Monday Night Football, Matt Canada, he might be left in the parking garage. So I do have a plan, though. This is a Nathan for you nod here, the plan. Maybe Jim Schwartz, if you're listening right now, don't make it so embarrassing for Canada that they do fire him, because I would love to face off against him a second time this season. So if there's an opportunity to kind of pull back a little bit, I know I'm playing with my food right now, and I told myself 5 minutes ago not to do that with Mike Tomlin, but still, the plan, give Pittsburgh some freebies. Let them pick up a first down or two. Let Matt Canada, go into the meetings on Tuesday going, hey, we had some good things on us on Monday. Let's not fire me after this one. So that's the plan. We're just going to give these Steelers a couple freebies. That way they don't fire Matt Canada and they continue to suck under him. Now, before we get to the rest of my keys to victory here, today's show was made possible thanks to our new friends over at Game Time. If you are looking to buy tickets for your favorite sporting events, concerts, music, or theater, well, it should not be stressful. And with Game Time, it isn't stressful because they have killer deals on last-minute tickets, and their best price guarantee means you can stop stressing over the tickets and start getting hyped for the fun that you are going to be having. So if you want to go catch a Browns game this season because the hype train, it has left the station after that Week 1 victory, make sure you use Game Time to get the best tickets, to get the best prices, and one of my favorite features, get the best experience. Because when you use Game Time, their app has this incredible bird's eye view where you get an awesome shot of where you'll be sitting. So you don't show up to your seats and you are, unbeknownst to you, up in the nosebleed. So make sure you use Game Time. They've got awesome deals. They've got awesome features. Plus, they're giving the Dog Pound $20 off when you download the Game Time app. Use our code BROWNSCHAT. All that information is in the comments and the description of today's video. But make sure you use Game Time. You can get images of your seat before you buy, like I said. Plus, the Game Time guarantee means you'll always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Download Game Time today. Terms apply, but create an account. Use code BROWNSCHAT for $20 off your first purchase. Third thing to watch for in this matchup here. How about Kenny Pickett against the Browns secondary? The Browns secondary feasted on Joe Burrow and the Bengals. They got nothing going through the air. So one would think against an inferior quarterback like Kenny Pickett, it should be open season for Denzel Ward, Martin Emerson, and Greg Newsome. Three guys that I thought all played really good football last Sunday. T. Higgins did not get a single reception. Jamar Chase was put in a bag, and these guys were celebrating all across the field every single play, it seemed like. But Kenny Pickett, he was not doing much celebrating on Sunday. 67.4 completion percentage, 232 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 pretty bad interceptions. And I remember all the Steelers fans putting all the interceptions on everyone but Kenny Pickett last year. Yeah, no one really to blame besides Kenny Pickett after Week 1. So this may be the matchup that ultimately wins the game for the Browns. I just do not see a way that Kenny Pickett and Matt Canada in this offense effectively pass the ball down the field. Ignore what Myles Garrett and Zadarius Smith are going to do in the pass rush. Those three cornerbacks working on George Pickens, who's having some character issues after 1 week of the season. Who could have seen this coming? No Deontay Johnson, Calvin Austin, and an ancient bag of bones named Allen Robinson. Yeah, I'm going to take Denzel Ward and company in this matchup, and this might be the nail in the coffin for Pittsburgh. Fourth thing to watch for in this matchup. How about Dawand Jones, the rookie right tackle, going up against TJ Watt? If the Steelers have any chance of trying to come away with a victory here, I think this is the matchup where they have to exploit and do a lot of their damage. Watt was still Watt in Week 1. The guy had 3 sacks against the 49ers and 2 forced fumbles. But Dawand Jones was really stout in the preseason, and I liked what I saw out of him in, relief for Jack Conklin during Week 1. He came in, he had some good pass blocking snaps, 77.8 PFF grade through 52 snaps. But it wasn't just that sample size. Throughout the entire preseason, Dawand Jones showed a lot of things you wanted to see. Only 3 pressures allowed, 1 hit, and 0 sacks. Now, that's preseason football. That's against second and third stringers. Who knows what it's like going up against TJ Watt compared to going up against, backups in the preseason. But I think Dawand Jones impressed a lot during camp. And the Browns brass and Berea is quietly very confident in what Dawand Jones can do going up against TJ Watt. There's not a lot of panic right now in Cleveland over the loss of Conklin because of what they saw out of Jones during the preseason. Plus, if you need a little bit extra support or relief, just stick a running back. I saw Jerome Ford shove a Bengals linebacker to the ground on Sunday. Stick him on that side of the ball. Put a tight end over there to help chip TJ Watt. If you've got to sacrifice an extra route runner to slow down TJ Watt, do it. because with no Cam Hayward, that's the pass rush right there. So sacrifice a running back going out to the flat, sacrifice a tight end getting a full head of steam running up the seam. If it means slowing down TJ Watt to help out Dawand Jones in his first true start, by all means, do it, Stefanski. But let's show the guy some support right now. Let's let him know the dog pound has his back as he gets ready for a very tough task in his first NFL start. Type his jersey number 74 down below. I want him to come out of practice and come across this video on his phone, have someone send him it, and see all the 74s down below. Fifth and final thing I'm keeping an eye on in this game. The stars need to shine. This is a little bit corny cheeseball cliche of me here, but I really believe that the Brown stars on a national spotlight, right, on a national stage, ESPN's Monday Night Football, they need to come out and they need to show out. And I want the rest of the league going, all right, I guess there is a new contender in the AFC. There is a new team that we have to worry about to get to the Super Bowl. I'm talking about these 5 players specifically. Deshaun Watson, he got that huge contract. Everyone is always looking to poke fun at him. And, you know, there's a tough conversation to have when it comes to Watson and the Browns, and I understand that. But he needs to come out and have his best game as a Cleveland Brown yet. Nick Chubb, we know we can rely on him. Amari Cooper, I want to see Myles Garrett show TJ Watt who the best defensive end is, no doubt about it, in the AFC North during Monday night. And then Denzel Ward. Just put Kenny Pickett in a sock drawer and stuff him down for the rest of the year. I mean, let's really just truly break and crack the confidence for the Pittsburgh Steelers moving on for the rest of the season. I want to reignite this rivalry. I want to make it a competitive one that has not been for a long time. I mean, sure, the last couple of years the Browns have had a little bit of success, but just when you feel like you're getting success against the Steelers, you lose by 14 points in Week 18 last year. Like, every time the Browns feel like they're taking a step forward against Pittsburgh, it feels like 2 steps backwards when the season is over. I want that to end right now. Beat them at their place Week 2 Monday Night Football, and that starts with your stars shining the brightest. So predict the score for me before we let you all go. Browns versus Steelers. My score prediction is going to change pretty much every day, but I'm going to stick for now with 27-13 Cleveland.